And good evening everyone who is watching the stream of VOD, arrives on air, and welcome to my, okay, I can hear myself peeking a little bit. Good evening, welcome to my another creative slash DIY slash fixing slash soldering stream. So I was actually going to do a little bit of, a little bit of lithium iron polymer work tonight, but then I decided to switch the gears a little bit, and actually there's been a need for quite some time already to fix this hairdryer. It's actually a pretty good one, so it is a pretty powerful solid one. I think it's like, yeah, 2000 watts, and it's very convenient, and my wife actually loves it. The problem is it got a faulty connection, maybe the faulty cord somewhere around here. Let me show it to you. So Let's see, it should be off. Yeah, okay. So just a short stream, maybe not a short one, but the task at least is pretty simple. Well, looks simple to fix this thing. So as you can see, it is working, and it's not. And when you start moving things around, you can hear it. And by the way, I'm using my new microphones tonight. Yeah, I'm not doing anything, and it was even it was turning itself on and off randomly because of the cord. I think I'm using my new microphones tonight. Finally, I'm fully and properly wireless. So this is Holy Land Lark M2. So I have them attached to my shirt already. That's one of them. Because I have two, I attached two. So hope the sounds okay. At least my tests kinda showed that the sound was okay. Let's turn off the hairdryer, and start disassembling it. So I already cleaned it a little bit, so just to like avoid there's been some sort of buildup of dust here. So let's just get to this part of the cable and see what we can do there. If we can just shorten the cable, if it's like a problem here, if it's a problem of a connection. Let's take a look. Finally, because of the microphones, I'm fully mobile because I'm using wireless headphones, basic Bluetooth ones. There's a delay, but doesn't matter for this stream. So I can see two screws here in the handle, and I need my bits. Something a little bit sharper. Yeah. So here we go. Let's see if I can even disassemble it and then assemble it back. I haven't really watched any videos about this, so hoping just maybe hoping on for the common sense of the manufacturers. Pretty long and tight screws here. These are not a joke. Okay, let's see. It goes apart here at the handle, but it doesn't want to. So there's like these two, they look like tabs here, but it's like you got to push them. Sort of kind of opened. There are locks there, or clips. You just got to be careful. Okay, let's try to push it apart a little bit with this. Just a guitar pick. Oh yeah, there's quite some dust here. Okay. Looks pretty simple. Looks very simple actually. looks amazingly well, amazingly simply built. Just two cables go into, it's not soldered even, they are properly like just pressed in this type of connector here, so which is absolutely amazing. So I actually shouldn't touch anything at all. I just need to get rid of all this dust here. So, and we will definitely continue because this should be super easy to fix. Everything is removable here. You just need to free the cord, move the board a little bit, and yeah, it's like nothing is glued that together. Nothing is just, I don't know, filled with plastic. No, everything's pretty disassemblable. Okay, I need to get rid of the dust, not on my desk. So let me actually step away for a second to blow the dust off where I can do it, and then we will continue. Just give me a sec. Okay, I'm back. I have a problem with my headphones, well, earplugs. So I removed the dust just to avoid spreading it in the room and across the desk. So what I'm planning to do here, so since we only have a little bit of a sort of kind of fold somewhere around this part, I'm going to cut it like this and then reuse the rest of it. So I'm going to remove only this part that I would, well, think that it is actually faulty. So let's see. Yeah, it moves through this one perfectly. Everything here is made for easy cord replacement. At least this is like in our favor. Yeah, I need to restart my headphones. Just give me a second. Okay. Huh. Okay, back to normal. I can hear everything now. Okay, so I'm so glad it's so simple here. I'm so freaking glad it's so simple. At least it looks like it is simple. We need to get this board out. I don't want to damage anything here. I just want to take it out just a little bit. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I don't even need to move it out completely. I just need access to the screws here that hold the cable in. If it's as easy as that, it's like gonna be absolutely amazing. I expected some bad things inside here, but no, this is a really good manufacturer. This is a solid hair dryer, super solid, I would say. And yeah, so we have a fault somewhere, maybe even here. What the hell's wrong with the music? That's not the music, that's the device. Just a second. So the microphones seem to be working properly. Let me actually listen to myself. When the sound gets back. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. Something's wrong with Bluetooth now. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Okay. It's like there's some sort of interference now for Bluetooth. Maybe it's because of the microphones. Let me restart it again. I'm trying just to now make my headphones work. It's never been a problem, now it is. Yeah, there's a problem. Okay. Let me deal with the sound issues. Yeah, the sound's intermittent now. Just a sec. Let's see if this one's going to work. Just a second. Okay, there is sound. Good. These ones are working. I just need to be able to hear the music and notifications on the stream, so yeah, apologies for this interruption, but okay. So let's change probably the damaged, remove the damaged part of the cable. I think let's cut it here. Like this. Then we're gonna need around several centimeters of the exposed wires inside. So like around here. I'm just going to carefully cut it. It's a good one. Usually I would cut it with this. It's actually pretty dull knife. Not really that sharp. So not dull, but not that sharp. I usually push through the insulation with this knife, and it's enough actually to create the cut. But this cord is better than the majority. This one you actually need to really just cut. So, but cutting it is dangerous because you might damage the wires inside, the insulation of the wires inside, and that you never want. Yeah. Okay, good cord. Oh, and it's actually pretty thick. The insulation is like very thick. But once you get it going, it starts actually just the sides of the cut start going apart pretty much on their own. Okay. Here we go. Almost zero damage. Okay, now I need to strip a little bit from these ones and actually crimp them the same way it was crimped here. And I have actually the way to do it. So I have the crimper, I have these thingies. The crimping, what we'll call sheaths, whatever they are. So when it comes to like the mains like this, and when it comes to this level of wattage, and it's 2 kilowatts of power on this one, it's not a joke actually, it's a super powerful thing in this small case. When it comes to that, you actually do not solder anything. So you only crimp, you only screw things together, but you never solder because cables tend to heat up a little bit. Yeah, I don't like the discoloration of the copper on this one. See, it's a little bit gray, so it's been like maybe overheating over the years. Maybe this actually hair dryer needs a thicker cord, but not in terms of insulation, but in terms of the size of the conductors in it. So maybe that's what this one needs. Okay. Now let me get the crimper. Just give me a second. I'm still here. You still should be able to hear me because these microphones, they are pretty nice. Okay, that's gonna be not that easy. Of course, the box with the parts for crimping is pretty far away behind everything else. That's the wrong one. That's screws, and here we go. Found it. Okay. Do we have? Yeah, I didn't check the synchronization on the camera, but seems to be okay. The thing is that these cameras, they are not the most amazing ones. They're industrial USB cameras, so kind of for keeping an eye on some industrial processes where you won't need like high quality or anything. Supposed to be robust, but I've actually seen them getting disconnected on their own quite a lot recently. Too thin. The music is a little bit too loud. Gotta keep it around this level. So the color coding on them, it's the size, it's not like the live and ground, it's not negative and positive, though you can use it like this, but mostly it's like the size. Here how it is. I crimped them several times just to create like a pattern like this one. So we here use neutral and live agnostic wall plugs. So let me show it to you if you are somewhere from another part of the world. So this is like Euro style wall plug, and you can pretty much plug it in any way, this side or this side. So neutral and live can change pretty much. So that's why there's no really point here, at least in this device and this appliance, to like color code the wires, the cable. Here we go, and then I do it one more time, but with a slight shift, and here it is. Okay, but before we move any further, let's do a basic sanity check if actually we really got rid of the faulty part. Maybe the fault is somewhere here and I just didn't cut it off. So, and the way to do the sanity check, it's pretty simple. We take a basic Vaga connector like this one and just short the cable. like this. Here we go. And then we take the tester, and I think you should be able to hear it beeping with this microphone. We switch it to the beeping mode, diode test, connection test, and then we do it like this. See, I have that like these things here. So we do it like this. And because it's shorted on the other side, they stay, it starts beeping. And then we start just playing with this side of the cable. And if we hear beeping getting interrupted, then we didn't cut off the faulty part. No, the beeping is here. So that was just a sec. So the device actually showed us that the cable is okay. So now let's start assembling the fan, the hair dryer itself. Yeah, technically it's a big fan with a heater, but still. So do not forget about this part. That's the cable holder for the handle. But what we need to do here, we just need to pretty much put these ones in there, one by one or both together. They might be a little bit too big because they're the new ones, so might need a little bit of pressure, like this. I don't know, it's hard to show because the handle is in the way. It would be easier actually first to do the one that's over there. So just moving the board a little bit out, like this. And now tighten it in. As I said, because we use like live agnostic wall plugs here, it doesn't matter how it was before. I can pretty much connect it in any order. Just the only rule that everything has to be connected. So it's possible that the problem wasn't the cable itself. I actually didn't test it. It's possible that the problem is, for example, in the board, but that we will test. So like this. Yep. Then we got to fix the cable inside using this thingy here, this cable holder. Pretty annoying tune. Well, if you can hear tunes only if you're watching it live on Twitch, but for other people watching not live or watching on YouTube, so there's no music. If you want to listen to some music, listen to your own. So the music is only for live Twitch viewers, unfortunately. Copyright and all that stuff. So I felt the issue was clearly cable related. Okay, and the new cable is in, it's not moving. So now the cable holder. It was like this here. It's actually, I mean, I hoped for the common sense of this design, and it's really designed like with a lot of common sense in mind. It's fixable, so you can actually fix it. You don't need special tools. Nothing is like in a lake of compound here that you cannot get through. Everything is disassemblable. In our era of pretty much single-use devices, this is like a very nice change. Okay, so I didn't screw it together. It's just clicked. Well, the back cover just holding by these locks here. So, but it's not going anywhere. It's not going to like shock me or anything. Just let me plug it in and we'll test if we got it working properly now. So as you can hear, yep, it gives heat, it gives air. All the controls work the way they're supposed to. You cannot feel it, but the thing is back to normal. That was actually super easy. I expected it to be harder, but that was actually super easy. So the release, good evening, welcome. Victory, yes indeed, welcome to my YouTube stream. Kojak, thank you very much, welcome to my YouTube stream. Guys, I might be missing YouTube comments because I'm a Twitch streamer. I mostly watch things, mostly do things on Twitch. I stream to YouTube, yeah. I even, when I realized yesterday and day before yesterday that something got broken and I couldn't stream to YouTube anymore, I stopped the stream and I fixed the problem. And just because of inability to stream to YouTube, I fixed the problem and then I continued. But I might be missing your comments on YouTube, so please, in my YouTube chat, so please. And by the way, you cannot hear the music. The music is only for live Twitch viewers. Okay, that's the back cover. I actually cleaned it before the stream. Now let's just close the Switzerland, made in Switzerland. Well, I mean, okay, of course, it's made in Switzerland. That's why there's a lot of common sense in how the thing is built. That's why you can actually fix it. And it costs actually some money. So it's a good hair dryer. My wife really likes it. And it's like super powerful. And see, 2 screws, nothing you need to break off to disassemble it. Yeah. Watching DZ on that monitor. I see. Yeah, okay. But still nice to have some people watching on YouTube. So we just screw in this proper, like, long and pretty tight screws, and we get the hairdryer back to the way it was. Let's check it again, sanity check. Yep. Kojak, welcome to my Twitch chat. So as you can see, now it is working. Let's check the cable again. That's the cable. As you can see, I'm actually moving it quite a lot. And yeah. Here we got it back to the working condition. So I don't know, that took us only 40 minutes. Maybe I didn't expect it to be this fast. Maybe we got to continue, do something else. I have a couple things that I need to do here. Just give me a second to prepare everything. So a little bit of soldering. We managed to fix this without soldering, and I sort of kind of expected it to be like that. Well, I mean, I explained it in the beginning. When it comes to 2000 watts on 220 volts or 230 volts, you do not solder things when it comes to that. Wait a second. I think my top camera, yeah, lost its color grading. Maybe make it a little bit darker. It's like manual. Let's check the focus. Seems to be right. Okay, maybe let's do a little bit of soldering. We have a little bit of time still here, so maybe let's work on some other stuff. That's gonna be just a bonus. And that other stuff would be a little bit of custom balanced cables of custom length we need just to solder. So as you may know, I have a second PC, a proper second PC that's behind me. The idea of that PC is that to be used first of all as the backup for the main PC when something's wrong with main PC and I don't have time to figure things out. So then the second PC comes in, plus for like testing things. For example, if I need to burn a video card for quite some time, sorry, so pretty much like a bench PC it would be. And for testing, like for trying things like different operating systems and whatnot, but of course with the ability to roll it back to how it was, because it should be able to like run Windows at any time. And then the second PC behind me, it's going to be a streaming PC too. I mean PC that you can use for gaming and streaming, because it's a backup PC. It's powerful enough, actually not powerful enough. That's not the right word to put it, the right way to put it. It's actually pretty decent computer by its characteristics, and it can easily play all the modern games, almost all the modern games. Doesn't have RTX in it, so only GTX 1080, my old video card that I sort of kind of kept no matter what. Didn't sell it, and decent CPU there and whatnot, so it can pretty much work as the same way as my main rig works. And it's going to be a streaming PC, not just, well, I mean, you could pretty much do the same stuff there, but it's going to be a streaming PC for retro games. So it's going to be the PC that capture image for from the retro stuff, from the retro like computers. I have a retro computer there too, one of, I have many. So and pretty much to work as a streaming PC for systems that cannot stream themselves. So yeah, but because I saved on the audio system there, like seriously saved on the audio system, I ended up actually, instead of just one proper audio interface, let me show you, like this audio interface here, this red one. So I bought a bunch of like old stuff, and it needs to be connected. So the microphone preamp is separate, the card is separate, the audio interface is separate, but it doesn't work with microphones properly because it's old and probably somewhat a little bit faulty. So need some cables to connect everything together. There's like 3 parts instead of just one here. There's like the audio interface, then the amplifier for the headphones that actually takes digital input, and then there is like the preamp for the microphones. So actually with the microphones I'm using right now, I don't need any preamps anymore. These ones are just wireless USB and pretty easy to use. I hope the sound quality is good enough. So, and they are wireless. I mean, it's this stuff. Oops, apologies. One got sort of kind of turned inside out. So let me show it to you. Yeah, that's this one. Apologies for the noise. So modern technology for the wireless microphones, it's absolutely insane because several years ago, not several, like around maybe 5, maybe 4 years ago, Nicola bought me a wireless microphone system by AKG, actually bought me as a gift. And that wireless microphone system is just completely pointless. It's like, I cannot compare it, even start comparing it to these new microphones, because like they are better in all possible ways. But to actually start soldering cables, I need to measure what I'm going to need there. So I need to get the lengths right. So I'm going to take a short break, use the bathroom, get a drink, measure the length of the cables I'm going to need there, and we will continue in a second. So be right back. Okay, just a second more and we will continue after that. So do not go away, please. We will definitely continue. Okay, I'm back. Just give me a second to get a couple things more that we're going to need. Okay. Some things we need to get out of the way. Some things we need to actually get in the way. The music is a little bit too loud. Let's make it quieter. Okay, just a second. So I got the acid, but the small cap that I've been using for it. Okay, and I'm going to need actually some cotton swabs. Just a sec. I don't know if you can hear me. Found exactly one cotton swab. It's for the small cap that I used for the acid. Okay, gonna do it without the cap. So acid is needed for soldering. Okay, back. So what we are going to do now as a bonus is to make what's called patch cords. These ones are just going to be not Ethernet patch cords, but just what's called balanced connection patch cords, or you can call them like stereo audio patch cords, but they are not for stereo. Each one's going to be carrying just one analog audio signal, but because it's balanced, it uses two positive connections. So, and yeah, that's why you need a little bit of acid here, because these ones, they sometimes don't really like to be soldered properly. So I can actually, well, I mean, I could disassemble all them and then cover them in acid, but since I kind of like boiling acid with my soldering iron, that's what I do. I sort of kind of, yeah, just prefer to do it with the acid still on the contact pads. So we're going to need a little bit of it stripped. So we got to learn how much, because I want it to be tight, and as you can see, they're going to be pretty short, because it's like two components standing on top of each other, two small boxes with the connectors on the back standing on top of each other. So yeah, so let's see if it's going to be like this. We heard this song today already, I think, but it's because it's what you can hear on Twitch playing in the background right now, my music. Well, it's not my music, it's just sort of kind of a mixtape. It's just the same people whose music was used in the Space Engine soundtrack. The same ones. Them collaborations with different musicians and whatnot. Oh yeah, okay. So this is actually a pretty good cable, balanced or microphone, so-called microphone cable. People kind of call them, these audio cables, either microphone or guitar. The difference is that the microphone has one positive and one negative, and the microphone has two positives and one negative, and the guitar has one positive and one negative. Did I say it right? I hope I did say it right. Yeah. Pretty solid insulation, not stiff actually, very bendy, but solid, as you can see. Solid shielding inside the cable. Nice sleeve, but very solid shielding. Plus, for the additional, well, not rigidity, but robustness of the cable, we have even two ropes inside. They are not like wires or anything, they're just ropes. So let's see, it has to be like this. Let's see if I can make it visible for you. Like this. Like this. Apologies if it's a little bit shaky. Here we go. So this actually takes more time than usually than like we spent fixing that hair dryer. But then for those who just joined, this is a bonus. We are done with the hair dryer. Everything went even better than I expected. So, and now we are just going to work on this. And this is a little bit of patch cords for my second PC audio connections. If it was only for streaming, I would have probably used the microphones like these ones, like I'm wearing like right now, only for like streaming from that PC. But because it's going to be used for capturing sound too, so it's going to be proper streaming PC for the computers and platforms that cannot stream themselves. So it'll have to capture sound, and because of that, so if it's like this, what would you think? And because of that, it will have to have proper audio inputs. And what's more proper than audio inputs of a proper audio interface? So I'm measuring the length here, just to have it properly cut and stripped. So like this maybe. Gotta be careful here. Yeah, that's the annoying part, unfortunately. That's the annoying part of it. I'm not using any strippers for this cable, for this wire. I'm just doing it like with a knife. Because there's not a lot of actually copper inside, not a lot of copper strands. And strippers they tend to take a little bit of copper strands with a stripped sleeve. Oops, it moves inside because it's short. Oh yeah, that's a problem. I can move, actually this one slides inside because it's actually short. The whole piece is short. So I moved it out a little bit, which is an unexpected complication. Okay. In order to fix this complication, we got to strip the other side of it. The same length, roughly. Just let's do it right away. So gotta be careful with this one because it's so short. The piece of this cable is so freaking short. It's possible to move the conductors inside. Like this, a little bit more focus. By the way, I moved the position of one of the microphones on my shirt, so might be a little bit better now. Okay, let's pull this one back like this. And let's try not to pull them anymore. Which is going to be hard. So while the outer sleeve is pretty rigid on this cable, it's cloths MY 206. So while it's pretty rigid, while it's pretty soft and bendy on the outside, the inner conductors, they are the sleeves very rigid on them. Okay, and I just used my teeth again to take off this part. The same we got to do on the red one. Yeah, there's of course some leeway here. We have some headroom in terms of length here and there, but it's better to do it the right way and to have the right length as close to what it's needed as possible. What is needed. Okay. So I'm pretty much breaking this very rigid sleeve here. I'm not even cutting it, I'm just pushing the knife through it. And then to prevent the cable, the conductor moving inside the whole cable, I'm just taking it like this, but carefully. And then I use my teeth. Like this. So all the strands, we do not lose any strands like this. And I'm not even cutting, as you can see, the ropes. So they are definitely getting in the way. But yeah, okay. Now let's pre-tin the wires. You always got to pre-tin the wires. if it's possible, if it's feasible, because that's how to solder. That's soldering 101. Okay, do we have the temperature? We have the temperature. It's super basic soldering iron, but it's not taking any solder anymore. No, it is taking. So if it's possible to pretin, you always got the pretin. It's just not always it's possible even. And pretining, especially these multi-strand ones, it's not just covering them in solder. In case of multi-strand ones, it's actually letting them soak some solder, some tin in between the strands. So, but this one actually is better not to pretin, because this one needs to be bent. But I think I will be able to bend it with just a little bit of shear force of my pliers. The excess we will cut. The dirt from the flux that I use, pine rosin flux, doesn't really matter. So one thing here, this thing, so we can actually put everything on through the other side of the cable, because there's nothing on in there. So this we do like this, and then bend in some direction, probably back, and then this we solder. Yeah, okay. Oh, I forgot to pretin one, the hot one. Nice sleeves, because it's a nice cable. They do not really melt when you hit the conductor itself. Okay, this part I'm not going to need. This part, the distant part, is going to get cut off. Okay, now we need a little bit of acid here. Just a second. So this is orthophosphoric acid, very old one. I mean, in terms of like its shelf life, but yeah. So it's almost safe, almost. If you pour it like on your carpet or on your clothes and didn't clean it, it'll probably damage them over time. And why do you need this acid? That's for soldering surfaces that might have a layer of oxidization on them. And quite some metals like this, they would have some oxidization going on. And this is the easy way to remove this oxidization. Excessive heat from the soldering iron actually removes it too, but that's excessive heat. So that's a little bit, might be not really the right way. So let's fix the cable in there. Let's create a little bit of a bed here. Without soldering anything. As you can see how, oh, you didn't see it, crap. So this how the solder actually immediately feel the, well, pretty much stayed everywhere I touched with the tip of the soldering iron. So that's what you want to see. Okay, let's cut the excess. So we don't need that much. Then I'm going to take this like this. Try to make it flush, and then add a little bit of solder to the part that's closer to the hole. Like this. It's kind of a little bit sort of kind of outside. Might be hard to close the case of the plug, but yeah, that's okay. So let's crimp the cable inside these tabs with the ropes. So that it's not going anywhere anymore. And now we can just from here we can solder the rest of it. Is of course a little bit of force, but yeah. Let's add a little bit of solder to the pads. Without closing the holes. Actually, it's pretty easy to close them with a lot of excessive solder. That you do not want. So let's cut the excess of it right away. Yeah, we didn't need to strip that much, but otherwise it gets a little bit too hard to work with. So, and then the red one goes, where is the freaking center of this? Here it is. This is what I call very basic soldering. Well, using O-face it makes it a little bit more advanced, but I still think it's like very basic. And because we pretend everything properly, we just touch this dirty, touch the thing with this dirty tip of the soldering iron. We don't even need like to add a lot of solder. I usually move the solder around the tin. I usually move on the tip of the soldering iron. These days people usually feed the solder, the tin, to the point where they need it, but I usually just take a little bit on the tip of the iron and carry it like that. And yeah, don't forget flux. Flux here plays the same role. If you didn't know, flux in soldering plays the same role as the oil on a frying pan, or in like what's it called, the thing where you fry French fries. it carries heat evenly. And then it evaporates or turns into burnt dirt that you just remove with some isopropyl alcohol and whatnot. So the flux is not conductive. The tin, or the other way, the solder, is conductive. Okay. See how it's like nice and even mount there. That's the right soldering joint. And if everything is pre-soldered, you absolutely don't need a ton of heat over there. So then you put this thing on. This sleeve protects the positive terminals, like the hot and the cold. There's like the ground, the hot and the cold, so they shouldn't connect to the ground. So let's see if it closes, because I sort of kind of made it a little bit too thick in this part. Oops. Normally always put all the cases and whatnot, oh yeah, before soldering anything. Here we go. No, I can close it actually. Yeah, there's a lot of room. These look like Amphenol jack stereo or TRS jack connectors, but they are like Chinese ones, but they are super solid. And with a little bit of acid, they actually, it's pretty easy to solder them. I think these ones are almost as good as Amphenol. And they kind of look, the design is almost like it's Amphenol. Actually have an Amphenol here. Crap, cannot show it. So, okay, I can, like this. So, you can see they're like pretty close even in their design. You can see the one that's named Amphenol, and this one is just Chinese something. Okay, one's done. Now let's do it again. This time take it apart and put it on before soldering anything. The order should be reversed. First you put on the case, then this protective sleeve. Grafeldi, good evening or good afternoon or good morning, welcome. So we are done with the hairdryer, and this is like the bonus part. We are working on some audio balanced patch cords, which means pretty much very short audio cable to connect components to each other. So okay, before we forget, let's prepare the jack itself, using again a little bit of acid. Well, I mean, Amphenol, the only probably difference between Amphenol connectors and these ones is that Amphenol, oops, there's a lot of acid here. Amphenol is not going to require any acid. There's no oxidization there, or very little. So Now let's add that a little bit soft solder. See how it spreads almost like super evenly. Everywhere where I touch, it just sticks immediately. That's how it should be. Now the part that's a little bit more precise. Here we go, without closing the hole. The acid, I don't know if you can hear it, but the acid's burning off under the soldering iron. Here we go. So this one's ready to be soldered. Let's prepare now this this cable to actually be soldered. So like somewhere here. Oh, there's droplets of acid here. Got to wipe it off. They might in time create like discoloration. So that's how I strip these wires. I just push the knife through the insulation, through the plastic sleeve. But that's this trick works with this cable because of its design. The outer sleeve it's really soft, and these ones, the ones that are inside, they are actually super rigid. Okay, and then to prevent everything from moving, I secure it like this and then use my teeth for the rest. That doesn't look actually that good. Didn't cut it properly, yeah. So this is better. So this way, the way I'm kind of stripping the cables, it's like pretty maybe strange. People would use cable strippers, and I'd probably use cable strippers too, if I had like to make, I don't know, dozens of these cables. But I'm making them for myself once in a while. So, and the way I'm making them, they actually sort of kind of, they don't break. I have cables that I made this way in like in the end of the 90s. Of course, of course the cables themselves, the conductors, are not really that great. Grapheldi, oh no, once maybe half a year. So pretty much this type of soldering very rarely. Twice per year, maybe thrice. So I do other stuff, but making custom cables for myself, I had different ones, different the same cables, but the length was different. So and I made them for myself, but because the idea changed and I needed shorter ones, I didn't need the longer ones, I managed to sell them for actually pretty nice money, for more than for around 15 bucks. So, and now I'm making the new ones that are going to be like of the right length precisely. Okay. So, well, I mean, Graffeldi, it's like super basic soldering. I'm telling you, you don't need actually, well, you're going to need some tools, and it's better to have tools than to not have them. Like soldering iron, the only requirement for the soldering iron to be like, it doesn't have to be big. It has to be like 15 watts small one. Here we go. So some solder, some flux, and yeah, pretty much the things you would find maybe in a kitchen drawer over like pretty average house, like a couple knives. So yeah. So, but again, I'm kind of working on them like this, pretty thoroughly, pretty carefully, but it pays off. There are cables that I made this way in around the end of the 90s, and they're still around, though they are not good because the cables themselves. How did I learn this? Well, I mean, these days you can learn it on YouTube, but this I actually learned from my stepfather. And it was so early, I don't even remember when the first time I actually soldered things. But this is like, as you can see, super basic soldering. You just take hot things and apply them to other things that are not hot. So again, we got a pre-solder, pre-tin everything. We don't need the full length because I know that I'm going to cut them. So again, flux, tin or solder. Soldering iron. As you can see, my soldering iron is like absolutely nothing special. It's super cheap one. Of course, it's not power. I have a powerful soldering iron that's cheap too, but this one, it's enough for these small wires. The big one, it's like for something large. So some tin or solder, some flux. I use pine rosin. It's a super old way of doing things using pine rosin flux, but I mean, I like the smell. It's very natural. So, and then some knives, some tweezers, and whatnot. So, oh, sorry, you cannot see, but come on, how do I even? It feels like the camera angle, it's like a huge problem. I just don't know where it is. Just let me fix the camera. Okay. Like this. This has to be a little bit better. Yeah. Okay. Do we have focus there? My camera is a manual. cheap USB ones. Industrial, cheap industrial USB ones, not like webcams. Of course, if you do a lot of this stuff, you gotta have proper fume extractor. So something that creates ventilation just at your workplace. So that constantly sucks air from around your soldering area. But there's enough. Since I do it very rarely, open window is just enough here in my case. Okay, do I have everything here? Yeah, I have everything. So I have this sleeve, I have the case, the casing of the plug itself. Oh, I made it a little bit too thick. Okay, I made it a little bit too thick. Let's cut off the thick part, since it has way more length than we need anyway. Here we go. So I'm going again to hold it with my pliers, my small pliers, just to, yeah, see, push it into the pad. And then, since everything is pre-soldered, you just add, okay, that wasn't good at all. You just add a little bit of heat there. Yeah, that's not good either, but at least it's okay. Let's do it properly this time. Oh yeah, I keep, for some reason, now I keep just flowing it with flux instead of solder. Come on. What the hell? It's like there's not enough temperature. Okay, let's try it again. Okay, I flooded everything with flux, which is not ideal, but that'll do. This time it's actually, yeah, didn't solder the way it was supposed to, because I was holding it with the pliers a little bit too close to the soldering iron, and the pliers were taking probably the heat. So going to use some alcohol wipes to remove maybe excessive flux here, to try to remove excessive flux. Scratch it off like this, and then wipe what was scratched off. Or just drown it in isopropyl alcohol, that'll do the trick, but I don't have here on my desk isopropyl alcohol. I have 10 liters of it, but it's, yeah, in another room and I'm lazy. Okay. Let's now crimp it. come on, where is the freaking angle for this? I definitely need an operator. Okay, that's not going anywhere. You can try to pull it out and it's not moving because it's like crimped inside these tabs now, which is the right way to do it. Okay, now let's prepare things here. Again, the red one and the blue one ended up on the other side compared to what where they need to be, but that's okay because we still have like some room there. So let's cut the excess of it. We still have some leeway or headroom. Like this. And you don't even need any sleeving like here because, well, I mean, to like insulate this one, for example, separately from this one or from the sleeve. Actually, this called like the parts of this, the contact pads on this jack, they are called like tip, ring and sleeve. So, and you don't need to do any special like sleeving inside the connector here. You just solder things together like this. It's not soldered yet, but you solder them and that's enough. Okay, now let's try to do it properly this time. Just by applying a little bit of heat and almost zero solder, it should pretty much, yeah, the tips dirty as hell. One problem with like pine rosin flux is that it makes things dirty, so you gotta have like a little bit of way to clean it. So you just apply some heat and whatever solder you still have on the tip, usually there is some solder on the tip of the soldering iron, it's just enough to flat everything, to flat the pad and secure the wire on it. Okay, since this one's a little bit longer, let me bend it in a little bit like this. And then you do the same trick. Okay, here you're going to need a little bit of solder. The iron ended up being dry. Here it is. No, it's properly flooded there. So it's like create a liquid mound of metal, and that liquid mound of metal, the base is the pad and the top is the wire. So, okay, then you put this sleeve here, like this. That prevents that prevents the hot and cold from contacting the sleeve itself, the metal sleeve, the case. And then you move it on, and well, yeah, this one, it doesn't want to actually get screwed on, probably because of some additional thickness on this side. Just bend it in a little bit. And here we go. A very short, super short patch cord. Let's check the continuity of it. So, oops. Okay, that's a little bit harder with the ground. I will have to hold it like this. Okay. Beeping. So the ground's connected to the ground, not connected to the ring. Cold, not connected to the tip. Hot. Let's check the ring. The ring is not connected to the sleeve. Ground, connected to the ring, not connected to the tip. And just to be completely on the safe side, the tip not connected to the ground, the sleeve not connected to the ring, but connected to the tip. One cable is done. So let me actually check if the length is enough. I mean, I measured it before cutting, of course, but still, sanity checks. I always do sanity checks. So again, this is for like professional, semi-professional use. You won't see these unless you do things like audio interfaces for PCs, or like sound for, I don't know, for like recording music at home or in studios, connecting like different components in a rack, like servers you would see stacked in a rack. Audio components, they do the same with them, just racks and racks of them, but they use like, well, the old analog way of connecting them. It's this. So unless you play with like microphone preamps, so you're not going to need this, but yeah, pretty much. Okay, let me check if the length is right, or am I going to end up with another couple that I will have to sell because the length is not right. Okay, just a second here. I cannot really show it to you. No cameras here. Just a sec. Okay. The length's definitely right. Well, could have made it even a little bit smaller, even a little bit shorter, but this one will do. This one will do. The cable, yeah, is bendy enough to actually be pushed to the wall and be bent. the way it needs to be bent. Okay. Okay. Everything is according to the plan. Let's keep going. So this time let's do it faster. Let's do it faster. First, let's start with the jack connectors. Disassembling them. Let's prepare them both at once. So bend them outwards. Yeah, it's better to use pliers here, not tweezers. That's for just easier cable mounting. That's just trash. Unbend them. This is for easier cable soldering. Now we take a little bit of acid and give them a little bit of acid treatment. Like this. Actually, even though this is a cotton pad, just a cotton pad, cotton stick, actually rubbing it makes difference compared to just, for example, dropping this in the acid, because rubbing, even like super light rubbing with this cotton tip, really helps to remove the oxidization layer a little bit better. I didn't know that it makes the difference, even light rubbing, but it makes. Here we go. Now we don't need the acid anymore, so let's get it out of the way. Now let's add some solder to the contact pads. See how it goes. Now a little bit more careful part. I just touch it and it moves on its own. That's how it should be. The solder, I mean, floats on its own. Just try to avoid breathing boiling acid, even there's just a little bit of it. Don't forget about flux. Here we go. Now the droplets of the acid. some boiled acid here, because I applied a little bit too much, but that's just whatever to make things cleaner. And now let's prepare the cable. The strands that make the shielding, the inner shielding of this cable, they are actually not easy to cut with a knife like that, at least not with this knife, but still you gotta be careful. Pretty easy. Did I say pretty easy? Pretty hard to cut. Okay, that's one side, and immediately let's do the same one on the other side. I prefer them to be like completely two cables completely of the same size, but you cannot actually, at least I cannot really achieve it to a millimeter. Okay. I pretty much bend it. It stresses it. It becomes white in there, and that white part of the sleeve, the plastic of the sleeve or the silicone, it gets cut super easy. It just kinda runs away from the knife when you touch it with the blade. The sides run away from the knife. Okay, here we have this one. The same on this side. Like this. Now the hardest part. Actually removing the sleeve, the insulation from these ones. Sorry, because it's sort of kind of hard, I cannot show it properly to you. But as I said, since this type of plastic that is this insulation made of, it's very rigid, I just push the knife through it. I do not even cut. Oops, forgot to turn off the meter. Okay. So this is basic soldering again. How to strip wires, how to pre-tin them. And here it is, the last part is done using my teeth. So while the sleeve on these inner conductors, it's like insulation, it's very rigid, very stiff, the core of the wire, the copper strands, they are very delicate. These ones are super easy to cut through. Okay, now let's use the teeth again. That's bad. That didn't work at all. Not going to show it to you, it's ugly. No, this is better. Okay. So we have two more left on this side, and then the hard part will be done. Okay, measure it. Sorta kinda. So I don't even cut. I'm not even cutting this plastic. I sort of kind of create indentations. And then the rest is done with my teeth. And the last one. So this is like the hardest part, because that combination of super rigid for this small size sleeving and then very delicate core, it's, yeah. I mean, of course, you damage it, you just cut it off, and you take another piece of the cable, but I don't want to. I want everything to be done the right way from the like the beginning. So it's not like we are diffusing a bomb here or anything. With damaged things we replace them. We cut a little bit too much. Well, we take a piece that we didn't cut, a new piece. We cut a little bit too little, we cut off more. But I measured the pieces already, and I don't want to go and cut off another piece. Okay, so time to use the teeth. Here we go. Now time to pre-tin them. Of course, I heard, well, there are guitar cables for guitar wiring that even sold pre-tin, but yeah, that's fancy. We are not this fancy here. Plus, it is actually cloths cable, so it's not like unnamed stuff from God knows where. It's cloths. So where is the center of this? Trying to find the center of the camera, the center of the frame. Okay, this is not taking in properly. So let's prepare both sides of the cable. I mean, first this side. I don't need to pre-tin the whole length of it because I'm going to cut a lot off of it. Take the solder. Okay, like this. Now the big one, the shielding or the ground. Again, don't need it to be completely covered. Completely soaked, not covered. Covering, it's not the right term. These multi-strand ones, they got the soak the solder in. Okay, like this. Another side. So the idea is, in case of pre-tinning multi-strand cables, is that it goes in between the strands, the tin, the solder, and keeps them additionally together. Where's the freaking center? Here it is. So absolutely zero need to make puddles of tin on the wires itself, on the wire itself. It's better to see picture like they are sort of kind of plated with it. That's the best way of pre-tinning, when you see things getting plated with tin. If you see things like plated, that means the job's done right. And you don't need actually more than that in case of pre-tinning. Pre-tinning is just pretty much plating and soaking them through. And plating means like a super thin layer. So when you like if you create pretty much a second wire out of tin, that's not right. Ideally the thickness of the cable stays the same, well, the wires. They just become shiny and silver. Okay. Okay, so let's put on the things we need to put on. Like this. Something is in the way. Okay. This one's for this side. And this one. Hey. This one's for this side. Now soldering. Let's cut this off right away. We'll cut them more, but later. Oops, I made this one a little bit too thick. That's why I'm talking about. That's what I was talking about when I was talking about not making them thick. So it doesn't go through the hole anymore. Doesn't fit. And I want it to go through the hole like this. What if I just move the camera like this? Yeah, okay, let's see if it's better angle for me to actually keep. Okay. like this. A little bit too long, a little bit too thick, but that's okay. We'll cut the excess of it. Oops. Okay, what if I just hold it with my finger, the end of it, and solder the other side? Yeah, it gets hot. Well, that's tin for you. Here we go. Cut the excess. Oh, this part got soldered too. Okay. Scrape off the burnt flux. Now fix it. Secure it in the connector tabs. Like this. Okay, so this is secured. I'm getting strange noises from under my desk. Okay, now the red one goes to the short one, that's the hot or the tip. Doesn't matter because it's my cables and I can color code them the way I want, but that's like standard. It's a little bit too long. Let's cut the long part off. Doesn't need to be this long. Okay. Now a little bit of tin, a little bit of flux. And here we go. That mount that I told you about. That got A little bit entangled there. Let's cut the excess of it again. Okay, and then the same, a little bit of tin, a little bit of flux, and just one touch. And since everything is pre-soldered already, it just takes on. And see the right way to do it, if you can tell, if you can see it. I hope the focus is good enough. See, this one's perfect because there's absolutely no exposed parts of the wire. So the sleeve, the insulation goes straight like into the pad, into the hole, and well, I mean to the hole. But of course the part that's the core is soldered. So, but no unsoldered part of exposed cable anywhere, exposed wire. So this one's like ideal. Bend it a little bit to put this thing on. Just a little bit of pushing. Well, this is good enough, technically speaking. But I want it to be even better than this. Yep, like this. When that small plastic part, that's again another sleeve, pretty much held on top of the black part of the jack. Then you just screw it and one side's done. Good. Let's do another side. The same algorithm. Oh, come on. Okay, like this. Like this. Careful with bending it if you applied the solder, if you pre-soldered it, because that might break. The part that you covered in solder, so gotta be careful here. That's why when I say, like, if it's possible to pre-tin your wires, pre-tin them, multi-strand ones especially, if it's possible, but it's not always possible. Sometimes they become like super rigid, almost impossible to bend, and if you don't have a lot of length left, so you might end up in a situation where it would be like a stub of a wire that you cannot actually solder properly anywhere. Yeah, okay. Here we go. That's properly soldered. Maybe like this. Yeah, I'm just looking for the right camera angle and failing miserably. Okay, let's cut off the excess part of it. Even at an angle. Now let's crimp the jack. Like this. Not going anywhere anymore. Won't be able to. Yeah, accidentally bend it a little bit too much. Avoid bending them this much. They are not supposed really to be bent. These contact pads here. So my bad that I actually applied too much force and like, oh, it's off. Morning, morning, morning. Welcome. So for those who just joined, oh, wait a second. I never updated the title and nobody said it even. 12, yeah, I just realized it. Been streaming for 2 hours 30 minutes and I just realized that I didn't press OK. Thank you, 12. But I realized that after you joined, so only, well, when I saw you in the chat. Freaking hell. Okay, now the stream's properly tagged. Crap. Nobody told me. Nobody probably even looked. Thank you, 12. Yeah. Here we go. This one's soldered. Now the other side. DD in Colorado. DD scam stream. Yeah, welcome. I forgot to press OK in my Twitch settings, in stream settings. I just forgot to press OK. Yesterday I streamed DZ. Finally, like once in a blue moon. as they say here, something big died in the forest. And yeah, I forgot to press OK. Welcome to the stream, DD in Colorado. So we're just doing a little bit of soldering here. We started with that hairdryer, but it was pretty much the same stuff, just without soldering. It was just the cord. So, and since the hairdryer took us like only 40 minutes to fix, I decided to like continue it with a little bit of guitar cord. Yeah. This is not guitar, this is actually TRS balanced patch cord. So to connect two audio components. So the idea is to have them of the perfect length. Okay, no. I keep adjusting the focus because my cameras, they are manual focus. Here we go. Now this one's ready. Let's just close this side of it. Again. With properly putting the sleeve on. Like this, and then the casing. Like this, and another one's ready. A short like patch cord. It is pretty much balanced patch cord. Let's check if everything is okay. I always do that. So beeper, here we go. So ground or the sleeve, connected to the sleeve, not connected to the ring, not connected to the tip. Now, I mean, it's like sanity checks, but I always do them. The ring, not connected to the sleeve, connected to the ring, not connected to the tip. Now the tip. Not connected, of course, to the sleeve, not connected to the ring, connected to the tip. Here we go. So where's the first one? The first one I have already, while I was measuring the length of it, I already connected it. So let me actually get it to show the work that's done. So that's the work here that's done. Two nice, pretty short, of the right length, exactly the way I need them. Well, maybe they're a little bit too long, but they're very actually equal in length. I've actually outdone myself here. I didn't expect them to be this equal, but yeah, they're like the same. So this is for balanced connections. So each cable carries one analog audio signal. It just carries it in the format of two signal wires. So 2 signal wires I use to transmit just one actual signal, because that's how balanced connections work. They have hot wire, they have cold wire, and they have ground. So yeah, okay. No, that's something I needed to do it for very long time. So this is what, among all the other things, this is what makes double vision streams possible, local double vision streams. When I play on my PC here, and for example, Tzlov or Nicola play on the PC that's behind me. So that's needed for the PC that's behind me to connect the microphone. Well, technically only one's needed because there's only one microphone, but the preamp that I got has 2 inputs. So, and I got actually pretty wild preamp. Let me show it. This I can show to you. So they don't make them anymore. So this is one of the components that I need to connect. They don't make them anymore, I think. So I bought it sort of kind of on a Russian version of eBay, but well, pretty much absolutely new in package. So it's actually a super hardcore preamp. So, and people say it's actually very good. So no, it's not EQ. It doesn't do any EQ. It only takes instrument, so for example guitar or microphone, and amplifies them actually very seriously. So any audio interface can take it. So it has 2 inputs for 2 microphones, or for microphone and guitar. And another thing that it does, this thing makes it so freaking loud. It can overload pretty much any audio card you connect it to. So, and another thing that it does, it gives you actually a phantom power for the microphones. So, and this is super important because, well, the audio card that I have on the PC behind me, I'm showing behind me, so that audio card sort of kinda is broken, and when I engage phantom power on that audio interface, so this button, but there, it pretty much stops working. So, and I googled how I can fix it, and I found this solution, this standalone preamp. And when I started googling about it, like if it's good, where to find it and whatnot, I actually learned that people say that's a very solid instrument / microphone preamp, like very solid, and it's way more powerful that I need. So like, see, there's a gain, a couple of gain knobs here, and you can turn them all the way from here to here. And what I need, it's like only like this, only maybe 15 degrees of a turn for the microphone to become super loud. All this run of the knob, it's like, yeah, it's excessive. So dual mic preamp, direct box. Well, not really a direct box since it's a preamp, but yeah. So if your audio card, audio interface for some reason doesn't have instrument inputs, or that for some reason doesn't have microphone inputs, it happens. Some old audio interfaces were so simple that they didn't have like anything but just linear inputs. So yeah, it's dual channel. Yeah, so this is the thing that kind of fixes that problem, and it was super cheap. They don't make it anymore. Interestingly enough, that the audio card that's broken, that doesn't have phantom power that cannot really work with microphones anymore. On my second PC behind me, it's M Audio too, so I'm getting a stack of M Audio equipment. So and this goes like here and then here for both channels, even though only one's going to be used. And then this goes into my audio card. So, but that's it for tonight. We managed to do way more than I expected, even myself. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. We started with that hair dryer, fixed it very fast. Then we continued with some cables, patch cords. So again, thank you very much for watching. We will do more of ambient. Oops, that's a little bit too loud. So, ambient, more of these DIY/IRL streams. I still have to finish the e-bicycle, lithium iron polymer battery that I started a couple days ago. I still have to finish it, and actually I really have to finish it. But that's like, that would be the hardest part. Soldering on attaching the BMS, the battery management system module. So yeah. But again, one way or another, we will get there. So thank you very much for watching. YouTube people, thank you for watching on YouTube. I could see some people in my YouTube chat tonight, which is like super nice. Please leave a like. Doesn't matter if you're watching this live or as a recorded video, it still helps. So please leave a like. If there's something you want to say, use the comments. For example, like the microphone quality. That's the first time I use my new Holy Land. Is it Holy Land? Yeah, Holy Land microphones for the stream. So Holy Land wireless microphones. Twitch people, thank you for watching on Twitch. Quite some viewers tonight jumping in and joining and leaving and joining, quite some lurkers. Unfortunately, the majority of the stream was spent in the wrong category because I forgot to just commit the changes to the stream settings. I typed them in, I just forgot to press OK. So, but still, thank you for watching, people. Thank you for chatting. DD in Colorado, Kojak, Zwof, Grafeldi, thank you for jumping in my Twitch chat. So let's now find somebody to rate and call it a day. Give me please a second. We always rate somebody. So let's see who we can rate tonight. Maybe let's take a look at science and technology section on Twitch. Just give me a second. I rarely get an opportunity to rate people in science and tech. Okay, Sid Heresy is there with the title. Is he? Yeah, okay. He is unfortunately just wrapping things up. So Sid Heresy, his title was like Stairway to Soldering. So unfortunately, we are a little bit too late to rate him. The problem with the science and technology section is that there's 90% of streams there, it's automated, unfortunately. And there's like absolutely, sometimes there's nobody, no real people to even rate. Okay, I'm not sure what's going on here. Well, would be nice to rate seed, but the rest seems to be automated here, or I just cannot find live people, or some like podcasts, some reruns. Okay. Okay, Nate is working on some DayZ event planning. Let's go and support him. I rate Nate a lot, but I mean, he does a very serious amount of job for the DayZ community. He runs a bunch of DayZ servers. He actually currently he is working on some event, on preparing some event. So let's go and say hi again to Mr. Nate. I will see you all tomorrow. That's it for tonight. Goodbye and good night.